A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Today on the show, we're going to conduct a post-mortem of the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Team Nigeria surpassed all expectations, and this was Nigeria's best ever outing at the Commonwealth Games. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the piece of news that the sports world received today. It was a long time coming, but yet still a lot of surprises. The most decorated female tennis player, Serena Williams, letting us know she's seen the light in the tunnel. And, of course, the retirement will come very soon. We'll talk about that on the show as we proceed. Also, we will take a look at CAF Club Cup competitions. We'll talk about the Nigerian teams involved in all of that. 4 in the CAF Champions League. I beg your pardon, 2 in the CAF Champions League, 2 in the CAF Confederation Cup. We'll talk about that as we move on the show. There's a big one going down tomorrow, the UEFA Super Cup. We'll talk about it. Real Madrid up against Eintracht Frankfurt. We'll talk about what might happen in that game. It is UEFA Super Cup showdown in Helsinki, Finland. That's the outlook of the show tonight. Usually, I'm not alone. I have my partners on the show, and we will be taking this trip together. Once again, I want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy what we have on offer for you on the show tonight. All right, Kennedy Idris joins me now, and of course, it's good to have you with me this lovely Tuesday evening. A lot happening in the world of sports, but let me welcome you first to our brand new studio, and of course, great joy to have you do this with me on a Tuesday.
Yeah, great joy. Always looking forward to, Sports Tonight on a Tuesday night. It's always massive. The topics I always look forward to. Then you mentioned the new studio. It's having its own ambience and then, its own feel. But trust me, the topic you started, we're talking about Serena. And like they always say, I think my dad told me some years ago, you never prepare for retirement, no matter how much preparation. When that day comes, it still comes like a shocker. So hearing Serena mention that earlier today, still felt like, wow. So we won't be having Serena in the same capacity like we always do.
All right, we'll talk about all of that. And I want to get your thoughts. I'm very sure we're not going to be doing this alone. But since you're still the one with me for now, let's talk about this most successful female tennis players. 23 Grand Slams. That's singles, 73 singles titles. You also have 14 doubles, Grand Slam titles, and 4 Olympic gold medals. She spent 319 weeks as #1. I can continue with the stats. She's not just a tennis legend, but she is a sports legend. And the sporting world would definitely miss Serena Williams.
We're already missing her. From that announcement, it felt like there is nothing we see now. It will feel like Serena isn't there. Even if she goes ahead to win another Grand Slam, though we are really wishing that she gets to win that to equal Margaret Court's, 24 Grand Slam record. And that might just be it. 73 career singles title. Out of that 73, you've got 23 Grand Slams, in there, and then 23 career doubles title. Also, and then she made over $94 million all through that period in career winnings. And there is nothing much to be said. There is nothing much to be said about Serena. And also, changing the outlook, the dressing of women tennis over a long time. Before, like it is said, quote and unquote, it used to be boring, but Serena came with different styles of dressing, and you saw that whenever you're watching female sports, you want to see, yes, sportsmanship, the athleticism, but you also want to see a woman do sport that comes with finesse, with some touch of class, and that is what, Serena brought. You should dress, playing your tennis sweetly, but also give the crowd something to see that this is different from male tennis or male sport, and that is, everybody follows suit. We saw how at a time, as much as they had their issues in the court, herself and Maria Sharapova kept changing style and raising the bar, and others followed suit. Serena is an household. I think she's something in that line of Tiger Woods, where some people even feel the sport golf is Tiger Woods itself. Serena for women's tennis, I think she could end that name as, Serena Sport right there, because of her massiveness, in all of this.
All right, so that's Serena Williams. Let's quickly listen to, of course, our man has joined us now. Let's quickly get his own thoughts. Okay, we get to him in a bit, but I think it's only fair. Let's listen to. Let's just quickly listen to. Let's listen to Serena Williams make that announcement that came to a lot of people as a shock, even though some actually expected it.
I don't know. I guess there's just a light at the end of the tunnel.
What is that like?
I don't know. I'm getting closer to the light, so that's yeah. So that's like lately. That's been it for me. I can't wait to get to that light.
I know you're joking, but can you?
I'm not joking.
Okay, so then explain to me what the light is to you. What the light represents.
Freedom. Yeah, I love playing though. It's like it's amazing, but it's like I can't do this forever. So it's just like sometimes you just want to try your best to enjoy the moments and do the best that you can.
Come down here.
All right, Serena Williams making that announcement. I mean, and I'm looking at the stats. Look, you compare that with Tiger Woods. You're very right.
Yep.
It looks as if female tennis, something will be taken away once Serena leaves. 2 mixed doubles, 4 Olympic gold medals. I have to read it again. 4 Olympic gold medals, 23 Grand Slam titles in singles, 14 doubles Grand Slam titles, 73 singles titles. She stayed 319 weeks. As number one.
That's number one.
I mean, that is beyond calling her a tennis. Like, she's a sports legend.
You know, the story of Margaret Court and all of that, it all ended in 1968, where the new era, the open era started. Margaret Court did all of that before the open era. So from 1968, now we're talking consistency. We're talking raising the bar every now and then. From when she's a teenager, we're talking a person who challenged her sister, who was an household name, and then went ahead to challenge so many other names. She fought through the ranks. It wasn't laid, the crown wasn't laid on the floor, on the table for her to pick. She fought through it, went on fighting, and then she transformed it. Now, there is a lot of talk about she's a power player, no finish and all of that. But a lot of persons have come to agree that is another style of playing tennis. There is never one style to doing any sport. This is her style, and we've seen people take after her, where you play, with the power, like you're talking Rafael Nadal, and then, Roger Federer, a bit of difference. Serena is just, she's a class that will be studied over and over and over again. When she leaves, one of the things that we've seen even before, her leaving the sport, because she has not been what she used to be, is consistency. We've seen chop and change. This lady comes, wins 1 Grand Slam or 2 Grand Slams,
fizzles
1
out.
ATP 1000, WTA 1000, fizzles out, another comes. In the last maybe 6 years, since Serena childbirth and all of that, I can mention over 15, commas to just take a bite of the cherry. Like I always say, hey, I want 3, 4, 5 persons in 5 years chasing each other down. And then in another 5 years, I have another crop like that. I don't want to see in 5 years, seeing about 12, players just rumbling around and all of that. And that is what Serena might be taking with her. I don't know if after she leaves, we will see that consistency, somebody popping up. But it looks like it might take a long while. Serena did that, and she did that not just, staying at number 1, racking up points. She was winning and raising the bar and transforming a whole lot. Like I mentioned, the outlooks of, tennis player. And then when you want to watch male tennis, you see the short, you see the top. When you want to watch female tennis, you should know that you're now watching female tennis. Beauty.
A quick one, because we've said it a lot. We can keep on going. But no disrespect to the ladies on the WTA tour, but you struggle to see any one of them that you could say, I mean, the person with the highest slams right now is Naomi Osaka, I think about 4. You know, even as consistent as Iga Swiatek has been, it's hard to put her in that bracket.
Yeah, she's got to.
So, you know, even the lady that former world number 1 that retired as well, I mean, I'm really struggling. Even the Sharapova we called her rival. A lot of people would tell you they were never rivals.
Yeah.
She was head and shoulders above anybody. In fact, nobody comes close. If you want to look at somebody who comes, maybe the sister. So you're looking at this current crop and like, do you think at the end of their careers, we can see any one of them surpass their achievements? It's hard. It's hard because we'll be putting ourselves in the position of a judge, and it's only God that can do that. But do you think we can get to see any one of them? Of this current crop, we'll be talking after their careers.
I doubt.
Over 23 Grand Slam titles.
I doubt. I think one of the things that is missing in today's sports, let me generalize it, is hunger. The kind of hunger that today's sports person, at 25, as Lebati said, she has seen everything. What has she won? And then she had to leave the sport. You've seen a lot of them start winning. Look at Nick Kyrgios. At 29 going to 30, that is when you're talking about discovering something in you. Because sports, in about 4 years' time, you're already, your career is dwindling. This is what we're talking about. This lady has been hungry since she's a teenager. She saw all of the names. She saw the numbers they've racked up. Margaret Court, you can go on and on mentioning their names. And she wanted to be them. She wanted to be one of those that will be talked about. I'm sure she never planned for 23 Grand Slams, but she wanted to be one of those that will be talked about. And she went on grinding and grinding. And she got 1, she got 3, she got 10. And the hunger still there. She went on to get 15, got 20, and even the 23, people will tell you, hey, childbirth came in that line. If Serena, as of then, held it, tell herself, okay, at 40, I'll start family, I'll start childbirth, probably we'll be talking 26, 27 Grand Slam today, because you can't take it away that really did slow her down. Twice or thrice, she's gotten to the final, and teenagers took her out. Naomi Osaka, Iga Swiatek, and a host of others, who had come up against her because they look sharper. They are in their teenage age. She was about 35, she's 36, 37 as of that time. It will tell. But the hunger today is the question. Who are those tennis players, especially the female that are hungry?
All right. Let's talk about a probable but most unlikely scenario. Probable but most unlikely.
Unlikely.
Can she change her mind?
Yeah. I think I was going through everything she was saying, and I said something to myself. Although I said it in Yoruba, I was speaking to myself. I said, if Serena, by any chance, wins the US Open that starts late August, it might just transform something. It might change something. She's going on 41. That is her age. If she can't do that, she might just think, now I've clinched 24, equaling the record of Margaret Court. Why not go for one more, relax yourself, prepare for Australian Open, which will be in January 2023, and then go and see if you can do this, because the same crop of player that you took out to win the US Open will be present there. Maybe something will be bettered in her. That is why I told myself. I said changing of mind is not also far, because you call off retire. You said you retire. You can also call off your retirement.
Okay, all right. I'll resist.
And I would love that.
Yeah, I'll resist the temptation. Idris is badgering me. I'll resist the temptation to continue with Serena Williams. We have to move on the show, and of course, our other partners on the ferry. We'll get them in as soon as we can. But let's attempt a post-mortem of the 2022 Commonwealth Games. That's our next port of call, and it was good outing. That must be said, a good outing. And everybody there, in most cases, there's enough blame to go around. But in this case, there's enough praise to go around, and you cannot leave anybody out of the share of the praise. It must be said, even though a lot of people don't like when you say that, the sports ministry, the individual associations, will do that. All right, let me bring Joseph Atewe into the show. Greetings to you, Joseph. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight. Very sure you've heard everything we've been talking about. We'll get your thoughts on Serena Williams later, but let's start with the Commonwealth Games. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on. I want to get your thoughts on. What's been happening. Let me just quickly. If you can hear me now.
I can hear you.
All right.
A massive one on the girls. I mean, it was an impressive performance from the girls. Chukwuebuka Ese Brume are named the more coach by the 4x100 meters. Massive performance from these girls. And one thing that I noticed is that sports was the escape routes for these girls. They really wanted something more than ever. They wanted to enjoy themselves. And that is what they got. Kudos to them. But then it is painful that as a nation, we'll sit back here and say, okay, that they have done from the president, and that he's congratulating these girls for doing blah, blah, blah. But then truth be told, what they've just shown to us, 12 good medals, 35 in total, it means that we can do more than enough. Put everything in place. These girls or guys will do more than enough. One of them will want to go medal. A friend, even on my WhatsApp, we meet all the time, and I'm sure when she comes back, it will be the same. Put everything. You go to the show, and the facilities are immense. What's that? I mean, we can do more than this, and these girls have just proven to us that we can do more and more. And congratulations to them.
I'm really struggling to get you very well, but we're going to try to sort this out so that we can have this conversation. I heard the first part of what you have said. It could have been more if we put our acts together. It could have been more, and I do agree with some of the things you've said. I'll come back to you because I still want to get your thoughts on the Commonwealth Games. But let me also bring in my partner in the Lagos studio. Just a quick one too. I'll get back to Joseph in a bit. It feels we could have done more.
Yeah.
Let me just get your thoughts quickly.
I think table tennis will come to mind. Probably we had the mind of at least we've got 2 medals, whichever color from the table tennis team, but we couldn't do well. Went with 93 athletes, 41 men, 52 women, and probably we saw more of the women. The 52 really did stand out. Competed in 7 sports, and I think putting it all together. Boxing, not boxing, athletics, weightlifting, wrestling, this sport stands out. Now, I'm mentioning 3 out of the 7. Boxing, judo, yes, powerlifting, tennis, these 4 did not really live up to expectations. And we had so much expectation from this, remaining 4. Now, I guess that is what Atewe was talking about, that if we had put our acts together, put round pegs in round hole, probably somebody would say, we also met people who came for medals, but why can't we be the ones taking the medals home? That is where proper preparation, comes in place. Now, look at the way we had our hopes on Oduanya Adekuroye, on Favor Ofili, on Rosemary Chukwuma, on Grace Nwokocha, on Tobiloba Muson, Ese Brume, and they all delivered because we saw the antecedent, and probably aside, doing anything to push them, we already had our mind on these ladies to push on and do us so well. Did we have the same mindset, for so many others like the judo? I guess we just went there, let them be part of the contingent, not like, did you put in enough? Now I'm saying just your mind to be at par with them winning medals. Now, you're now going to preparations, you helped them too. Before the tournament, what are the facilities on ground? Did they compete or get preparatory competitions before the Commonwealth Games? Because the Commonwealth Games is nothing compared to World Championship. It's nothing compared to the Olympics. It's a smaller set. Although we've got some very good countries like Canada, England, Australia, Singapore, and the likes. Yes, they're a very good athletics country. Bahamas also there, but it's still smaller. How do we go from here? like we have said, Atewe said it, and I'm, seconding that. If we had done proper preparation, this is 35 medals for Team Nigeria, though it's our best outing because 12 gold eclipsed what 1994 had 11 gold medals. But look at 178, 67 gold medals for Australia, 57 for England, 26 for Canada. Why can't we be that? This is where we talk about going back to the drawing board, not just going there and go there, talk and sleep. Go there, consciously talk. 2025 is already around the corner for another one.
Okay, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, I'm looking at the medals, and a lot of people are in celebratory mood.
I am.
But some of the things you have said,
yeah,
a lot of people are being very cautious. You know what? We need to put a pause on all of this, yeah. And of course, we get back to all of this. I still have Austin Okonakman waiting in the wings. Joseph Atewa still as well waiting in the wings. We'll go on this break. When we return, we will continue with our post-mortem on the Commonwealth Games. All right, welcome back. Of course, I still have Kade Idris with me. We'll continue with our post-mortem. Austin will join in shortly. But I want to take a look at how everything went down. We're going to go to the screen and I'll also just look at it. Well, this is what we have, Kade. And you were so eager to go there. And you just made me feel like a dwarf. 35 to 178. But first, it's still worth celebrating because we have never had 12 gold medals.
We've never.
At the Commonwealth Games. Never. First, a lot of people are saying we should thank the ladies. We're thanking them. They won all the gold medals.
It's all about the ladies.
All about the ladies. So we're thanking them. But then I want to get your analysis, Kade.
Yeah.
12, 9, 14, 35.
Yeah.
No matter what you want to say, it was a good outing for Team Nigeria.
It is. Probably if you're looking at the number of medals, you will still go back to the 1994 where we had 11 gold, 13 silver, 13
the haul was much.
Yeah, the haul was much.
37.
37. But you're talking 12 gold medals. Whether silver and bronzes are so much, it dwarfs everything. So good one for Team Nigeria. Trust me, I celebrated all through because almost every day we had something to, celebrate. Unlike the Olympics where we had to wait till the later part of the competition. Every day, probably at the middle of the night, very early in the morning, you hear this had happened, that had happened with the weightlifter. It started with Adijat and all of that, They all went on. And then when it got to athletics, we continued to see that. When wrestling came, Adekuroye, Blessing Oboro Dudu, and the like, Genesis also, all doing us proud right there. Trust me, I'm still celebrating, but so many at times, it's like having a kid, your own kid, come second in class. After praising him, you will look at the results sheet and you'll be like, do you know if you had tweaked and done this, you would have been first in the class. That is where, you are motivating that kid to go on and do better next time. Now, me saying we can do better doesn't take away the fact that I'm celebrating what they've done now. All of the ladies, all of the guys, I celebrate everybody. 93-man contingent is so much.
All right.
35 medals right there. But I'm saying if we can do this, look at these countries.
Okay. We'll get back to this.
We'll get back to that.
A lot of people will tell you, let's celebrate this first.
We're celebrating.
All right. When I was joined by my colleague, Austin Okonakman, who saw everything, was there live, and it's now cooling off, by the way. It's been a stressful 2 weeks for Austin Okonakman, but from his face, as you can see now, he's a little more relieved. Greetings to you, Austin. Thanks for finding that time to be with us on the show tonight.
Sporty greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, special shout out to our viewers joining us from different parts of the world. Finally, the curtains are falling on the 2022 Commonwealth Games. I see people are celebrating in Nigeria. It was a record-breaking performance, but there are areas where we need to reflect.
What I'm listening to is putting the bot. Kade Idris did this, Joseph Atewe did this, and you're doing it now. You're just storming my parade. Why the bot, really? Why? I want to know. In your opinion, though.
I Yemi, please, could you just repeat that again?
I said, a lot of you guys have listened to said it was good, and at some point you had, but you just did that right now. So why the but? A lot of people are celebrating why the but. So just help us see why you had to have that, in spite of the fact that this was our best outing ever at the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, the buts are there because, we could have done better as a sporting country. When you take a look at the 9 sports that were featured at the Commonwealth Games and the athletes that represented Team Nigeria, you'd expect them to do more than 12 gold medals. For instance, I expected table tennis to win a medal. It's not from the team event. I expected Aaron Okwadri to, get on the podium. But this is sports where anything can happen. Powerlifting, we got just 4 medals. That's not the story we know of powerlifting, particularly with that terrible disqualification that happened, 2 powerlifters not showing up on time for their kits inspection. That could have been avoided. That was administrative issue. We must find a way to stop those sort of things, When you take a look at track and field, yes, our athletes came all out, gave their best. But when I spoke to the guys who ran the 4x400 and the ladies that ran the 4x400, they said that there must, be programs that should be put in place so that they can improve. And I totally agree with them because back in the day, we used to do so well with the 4x4. Yes, it was a record-breaking performance, but they were bots. And look, those are some of the things that we need to take care of before we get into the fields to compete. And they were glaring, administrative issues. But I'm sure with everything that has happened now, people just want to celebrate and say it was a record-breaking performance. Everything went well. No, we must always find ways to get better. This is Nigeria. It's a blessed country, with talent everywhere. If you take 93 athletes to the Commonwealth Games to compete in 9 sports, people expect Nigeria to get on the podium, for almost the 9 sports. But it doesn't work that way because we know that sometimes we don't do enough to even prepare for these competitions. So that's why we must reflect. We must put those bots. So people in the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development and the different federations will sit up and know that there's still work to do.
All right, Austin, I said earlier that in most cases, we come back from sporting events laying blames, sharing the blames, enough blames to go around. But now that there's success, there are some people who are saying, let's praise the athletes, don't say anything about the administrators. Where do you stand in all of that?
Success should make us reflect. Success should let you, get better because it's easier to fail. And, when you get up there, you must sustain the momentum because now you have done so well at this Commonwealth Games. The next Commonwealth Games you go to, you either equal this record or you surpass it. So we're not saying we should blame, but everybody should sit back and reflect, have a proper assessment. The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development should have an assessment of the games. The different federations should do the same. Officials, coaches, even the athletes should do the same. If you won a bronze medal, it could have been silver. If you got a silver, it could have been gold. If you got gold, sustain the momentum. It's all about getting better. That's what success should do. So I'm not part of the people who will come out now and blame this or blame that. But for some of the lapses that we saw in Birmingham that could have been avoided, we need to call people out. People need to be accountable. And that's what we want for our sports, to achieve proper development. So that's why I was calling out what happened with powerlifting. For instance, before the games, remember, I told you that I want to see what we can do with boxing and weightlifting. And I'm super impressed with the way those sports, did. Weightlifting gave us 6 medals. Boxing gave us 4 medals. We used to do so well with those sports. And then we went to sleep with this Commonwealth Games and what we have achieved. It's time for those 2 federations to sit up, sustain this momentum, find a way to get better because we are a respected country when you talk about weightlifting and boxing. So yes, we shouldn't say blames. We should call it proper assessment of the games and find ways to get better.
All right, let's quickly take a look at, by the way, I still have Kende Idris with me. Let's quickly take a look at our performance in terms of the medalists. And let's see it on the screen. Team Nigeria gold medalists, 12 of them. I'm going to reel out the names quickly. I'll get Kende's thoughts, and of course, I'll bring Austin into it. Ukeria Iyazi, she set a new games record in the women's shot put, F55 to 57, throwing 10.03 meters. Goodness Nwachukwu throws 36.56 meters to break our own record. Toby Amusho, I mean, what else can we say about her? She set the Commonwealth Games records of 12.30 seconds to win gold in the women's 100 meters hurdles finals. Women's 4 by 100 meters relay team, the quartet of Toby Amusho, Faithful Vili, Rosemary Chukwuma, and Grace Nwakocha set an African record of 42.10 seconds to win gold. Chioma Onyekwere, of course, won gold in the women's discus event with a throw of 61.7 meters. I mean, these are our ladies that brought joy, of course, to us. Mercy Genesis winning gold in the women's wrestling freestyle 50 kilograms. Blessing Oboro Dudu, of course, backing up what she did at the Olympics, winning gold in the women's wrestling freestyle 68 kilogram category. You have Odoayo Adekuroye bouncing back from the disappointment at the Tokyo Olympics, and she was able to win gold in the women's wrestling 57 kilogram category. That was the freestyle event. Folashade Oluwafemi breaking our own world record, lifting 155 kilogram to win gold in women's heavyweight powerlifting. Then you have Folashade Lawal. She won gold in the women's 59 kilogram weightlifting, breaking 3 games records to lift a combined total of 206 kilograms. And still talking about our ladies, Adijat Olaroye, she won gold in the women's 55 kilogram weightlifting event, setting a new games record in the process. All right, just let me quickly get your thoughts. All of these ladies pushed barriers to get to where they got, and I'm not sure we're going to forget any one of them in a hurry.
We can't. I think it's the best time to be a lady. Probably the best man for the job right now in Nigerian sports is a woman. That's how it stands. I
like the play on words. The best man for the job
is a woman. Because Adijat, Folashade,
all of them.
Unexpected. Adijat is so young. That was another angle to her story. She's 19 and she did that, and the entire area of hers in Lagos, went in opera. For Tobiloba Amuson, she expected. There is a street where they have a portrait so big right in front of there, writing it there that if you need inspiration for anything in life, this is the person. Some places it's all about Esebrume, and so many of these ladies have become Esebrume. Put it out there right. She said, what we have done, every one of us, not just the gold medalists, is an inspiration to all of the young ladies who are looking up to us.
All right.
This is what they want to be.
All right. Joseph is back with us. And Joseph, thanks for doing everything possible to be back with us on the show. Joseph, I mean, you look at those names we've reeled out, ladies who've done us proud, and I mean, there has to be enough gratitude to the ladies for what they've done. Probably if we went with only men, maybe we wouldn't have had any gold medal. But that's for laughs. In spite of anything we say, I think Nigeria still needs to enjoy this moment because it's good in our sporting history.
In 60 seconds, I think start your own record means a lot. It means so much has been put into play, preparation, and how much you dedicate to sports, how much you make the country proud, and that is what these girls have done. And for the guys, I think there's still better days to come. But then breaking so much this record, forget the Tobiloba Amuson. There are other names we've not mentioned. Islamiat, Nwakocha, these girls were in the 4 wide. It has done so well, and I think that there's still better days to come. Only if they're given better facilities to prepare.
Let me ask you, you're the one that is making us reflect soberly, even though some of us wanted to get carried away with the celebrations. I like the fact that you're making us reflect. Do you think this will be a turning point in our sports? I mean, we're coming off the World Athletics Champs, did well, coming off the back of the Commonwealth Games. Do you think this is going to be a turning point, or you think we're going to go back to our old ways where we cross our legs and wait for the next tournaments and without doing anything?
Okay, I think that coming off from the World Athletics and, of course, what we currently witnessed in, or rather at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, I think that one thing that came to play, just as I said in my intro, is that many of these girls, many of these athletes saw sports as an escape route. Now, coming back to the country, what it means is that we still have so much. We have so much. Go to Delta, go to Lagos, we have so many of them can speak. You have so many of them can go into cycling. You have so many can go into different sports, but they can't win because they don't have the capacity. They keep coming. Government take hands off football. Look at some of the privately owned football clubs in the country and see how well they're faring. One of them will be Van Versa. Look at Van Versa, even though their efforts will be frustrated. So I'm saying in a nutshell, Yemi Austin, that these girls has just proven to us that we might not have the best of facilities, but we have the talent. And of course, but the government can do more. We are better off than the Australians. We are better off than some of the countries who are ahead of us, England. Only if these facilities can be put in place. And I'm sure if that is done, we'll make it. Okay.
All right. Nice one from Ahmad Joseph Atewe. All right. Let's quickly give you a chance to listen to one of Team Nigeria's bright and shining lights. Didn't get a medal in this competition, but of course there's a lot to expect from him, and hopefully it will come good. Let's listen to Chukwuebuka and Egoche. Now, what he has to say about his performance at the Commonwealth Games. We'll come back, talk some more on Sports Tonight.
I think the meet itself was great. I just kind of had an injury problem, something that I can sort out in the off season, but it's kind of been a long couple of months of championships, so it kind of showed in my body. But it was a good competition, gave it my best, but I didn't show up at 100%, so that's kind of how it goes. I couldn't have started better, but I am in good shape besides that one injury issue, so it's something that was out of my hands. So I still, while I'm here, I wanted to give my best. So considering, I'm proud of how hard I fought, but like I really wanted more out of myself. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good year altogether. So I always work to get my bottom number up so that I'm consistent. So I've been pretty consistent, and the injury is pretty serious, so I'm happy with what I can do regardless. Last time I had this, I was throwing 18 meters, so it kind of shows the physical shape that I'm in. But once the off-season comes around, I'll just rehab and come back at 100%, and it'll be another big year, 2023. Like, I have no fear. I need rest. I needed rest for a long time, so I think today was my body saying, hey, like, take the advice, take the sign, and go into the off season, because it's been a long season of, I mean, we went to African championships, then national championships, and then this one in the space of about 5-6 weeks. A lot of travel, a lot of comps, so something had to give. You know, I'm a human, not a machine. So of course I had high expectations of myself, but it wasn't meant to be.
All right, so that's it. We have Austin back with us right now. Like we say, local parlance, one for the road before we let you go. Austin, I mean, if there's anything you'd like to say to the administrators, especially at this moment where spirits are high, we're in celebratory mood, what would that thing be to help put everybody in check so that we don't come back complaining the next time we go for a major tournament?
I'll say sustain the momentum. I'll say reflect on the games, and find ways to consolidate on this performance. I'll say to them, we didn't have the best of preparations, So we need to start doing those things that will, give us top-notch preparations for competitions. I'll say we should also pay closer attention to athletes' welfare and conditioning. You listen to Chukwuebuka in Ekweche. He was injured, had to compete with injury. Same with Dodi, Dodi competed with injury. Quite a number of them, So those are the little things you need to do before you get into a big competition. So I'll say to them, work with the federation, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development. We need to see a proper synergy, long-term plans coming into fruition now. Use these Commonwealth Games as a yardstick to solidify plans for the Paris 2024 Olympics. If Toby Amuson can break the world record in Oregon, and a month later, she's breaking the Commonwealth Games record, she is a podium prospect at the Olympics. You must keep it going. If SC Brume has been consistent right from 2018 till date, then she can get on the podium at the Olympics. If we can keep all of the things that we've achieved here and correct the mistakes that we noticed here, then Team Nigeria can, actually get the world talking at the World Championship. She is a record breaker. For the Commonwealth Games, she has the record. SC Brume has the record. Team Nigeria doing so well. Our 4x100 meters women's relay team have the African record. So it tells you that we can keep going strong, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of smart work. Purpose-driven people should be in charge of sports in Nigeria. Otherwise, we'll just say, we did so well. We got 12 gold, got silver and bronze, also 35 medals. We broke the record and people go to sleep. And then we go to Paris and start asking questions. So, administrators, reflect, wake up, let's do more.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Austin. We'll do this again later in the week.
Thank you so much. I'm always delighted to be on the show.
All right. All right. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return, still so much for you on Sports Tonight. Join us again. All right, that's it. We're on the home stretch. It's time to take a look at CAF Club Cup competition, the one involving Nigerian teams. Kennedy Idris is still with me. Kennedy, on the screen, what we have is the first qualifying round. We'll start with the CAF Champions League, and a lot has been said on social media about the pains of starting with 4 teams, finishing everything with 1, and the one even not getting into the group phase. But Rivers United will be up against Watanga, that team. Plateau United of Nigeria up against a team from Gabon. Yeah, you cross this hurdle. Some very big teams are waiting for you in the next one before you get into the group stage. But I want to quickly get your thoughts on this before we move to the CAF Confederation Cup.
Rivers United getting a Libyan team. Libya has proven, just like Sudan, that they are they've got teams that are very formidable. You might not know those names in African football, but whenever you come up against them, you should. But looking at Watanga and also looking at Vaso State, I think for Rivers United and Plateau United, they have got a bit of a luck of draw. They would have gotten some other teams that are way more stronger than this. But now they've gotten this. I think this should be a statement of intent. Beat these teams and move on to the next. So like you mentioned, there are still some very strong teams waiting on the other side. But if you don't get past this, I think it will put another question mark on the kind of champions we produce in our league. It's a top question. Watanga and Associated should not be stopping our champions, because Plateau United are also champions. Coming second out of 20 teams, you are a champion in your own capacity. For Rivers United, about 6-7 games to go, we already knew they were going to be league winners.
Let me pause you. I understand your summation. We must do well. All right. Let's quickly bring in Joseph for his parting shot on the show. Joseph, if you're with me, let's quickly talk about the CAF Confederation Cup. That's our next port of call. And look at Remo Stars and Kwara United and the teams they're going to face. How far do you think both teams can go? Can they scale that first hurdle that lies in front of them?
The problem has always been that we qualify for a major competition like this. Of course, it be the first, second, fourth to a large extent. And how far we've qualified, can we beat these teams when we know we have not enough assets at our disposal? I always criticize our sporting system because I believe we can do more. But looking at Akwa United and Remo Stars are coming into the fold for the first time in a very long time. Yes, they will struggle because North African teams have proven to us that they are not here for joke. Different competitions when it comes to the African Cup of Nations, look at how many teams that have won the most. You want to pick non-African teams. Egypt at some point proved 3 times in a row. It means that they're not so concerned about what is happening outside the continent because the football, the style of play is different. So they want to focus on that. But then I think Akwa United versus wherever it is, and ASF Club versus Remo Stars from Morocco, the North African team, once again, these guys will struggle. But I believe Akwa United, who maybe over both legs, scale through, Remo Stars will struggle because this is the first time and it's a different competition entirely.
Okay, you've called yourself the octopus many times. We'll see whether or not your predictions will come true. Joseph Atewe, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. We'll do this again some other time. All right, so that's it. Of course, we're about to wrap things up, but let me just quickly go to Kaide Idris. Parting shot on the show tonight. Do you think the 4 teams will be able to make it through to the next round?
That's tough.
Quick one.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, hoping so. Tomorrow is the UEFA Cup, UEFA Super Cup, Real Madrid, entering Frankfurt. Any predictions?
I think probably to be a whitewash. Just saw the 6-1, whitewash of Eintracht Frankfurt by Bayern Munich. Somebody will say Bayern knows that team so well. For Real Madrid, I think they might just be, sending some messages to teams that they will be playing when the new season starts in the La Liga. So I'm tilting towards Real Madrid.
Okay. Kaide Idris, I want to thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully we'll do this again some other time.
Of course, and then we'll take the conversation off the studio.
As we always do. That's the show today. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we'll be able to bring to you. Time not always our friend. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.